911, do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. Then, a little boy out of sight for just a moment
Something was out of the ordinary.
plunges into an open pool.
I thought he was dead.
Be there as paramedics and police race to the scene and confront the challenge to save his life on Rescue 911.
In Claremont, California, September 24th, 1989 began as just another quiet Sunday for Jerry Gabinesh and his 3 children.
My wife, Diane, is a flight attendant for a major airline. And I was playing Mr. Mom, which I do on the weekends. We had just finished breakfast, and generally on Sunday morning, we'll do a little yard work. We went outside, and Wesley was out in the backyard playing on the slides. He's also riding his bike, making a little bit of noise. And the girls were in their rooms playing at that time.
What do you want decorated?
We have a hose that's out in the pool area. I pulled the hose out into the backyard so that I could water some plants that I had just planted. And I left the gate open. I all of a sudden noticed that there was a tremendous silence in the yard. I know there's something wrong at this point. Something was out of the ordinary. And I remember turning around, looking at the yard, and I didn't see, nor did I hear Wesley.
Girl, come help me find Wesley right now. Wesley.
From that point forward, it was pure adrenaline shooting through my body. And all of a sudden, something tapped me on the shoulder and said, wait a minute, let's check the pool.
Wesley! Wesley! Wesley!
I pull back the cover,
Wesley!
I look, and I see something on the bottom. And I had to look twice because I wasn't really sure what it was. And as I looked again, I noticed that it was Wesley. The next thing I know, I'm on the side of the pool, shaking him. But he's lifeless, totally lifeless. Then I knew it was time to administer CPR.
Come on, buddy. Come on, Wes. Come on, Wes.
I remember my youngest daughter, Katie. She said, Wesley, don't die. After that, Julie came running out, and she said, Dad, should I call 911?
Oh, come on, buddy.
I thought, oh my gosh, this is actually real. Because I didn't think it was real until then. I thought it was just a bad dream. But I just remembered what I was supposed to do, and I did it.
Hello, emergency. Hi, my baby brother just fell into the pool. Okay, let me transfer you to the fire department. Okay, stay on the line with me, honey. Hi, my baby brother just fell into the pool.
Okay. Is he still in the pool?
No, my dad just got him out and he's giving CPR to him.
Okay, your dad did?
Yeah.
Okay, how old is the baby?
He's 1.5.
Okay, your dad does CPR then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's giving him enough CPR?
Right.
Okay, we'll be right there, okay?
Okay.
Engine 101 of the Los Angeles County Fire Department responded immediately. Paramedic Greg Prancevic headed toward the scene.
I have 2 boys of my own. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, so it really strikes home. And anytime you get an alarm where it may involve a small child, you tend to get a little bit more excited. You have a tendency to drive a little faster, just for the fear of knowing that it could be your child involved someday.
Sergeant Rick Mellon, on patrol only 5 blocks away from the Gabinesh home, also responded to the call.
I don't like these kind of calls. Anything to do with a child, they scare me. Because I have 2 of my own, and they're very precious. And that's the only thing that was paramount in my mind. No matter what it's going to take, we're going to try to save this baby.
Within seconds, the police located the house.
The little girls did an excellent job by helping us out. They just wanted to make sure that their baby brother got help. So I take off, leave my car running, lights going, but at that point I really didn't care. What I have is a potential 2-year-old drowning victim, and we want to save his life.
I didn't know if my son was alive or dead at that time. I thought he was dead, to be honest with you. And I just had to pray to God that he would live.
Sergeant Mellum immediately took over giving CPR to Wesley.
I saw my partner come up, and I picked up Wesley. I said, "Let's go."
When they finally grabbed him and took him away, only thing I knew was he was not breathing at that time on his own. To me, that meant I had a son that was dead, a young son that was dead.
Fred's driving as fast as he can, without crashing the car, and I was giving Wesley the respirations as we're going down the street, code 3, and I'm yelling at him, "Come on, breathe." It was very important to me, and we had to save this child.
Tonight, after years of fertility problems, a 33-year-old twin becomes pregnant with a rare double set of identical twins. Meet a family who defied all odds on the premiere of Double Identical Twins, tonight on Discovery Health Channel.
I give him a couple more breaths, and then I look up and I see the fire department coming.
I saw one of the officers with a small, lifeless boy. As a police officer met me at the back of the police unit, he gave me the small boy and said, "He's not breathing. He doesn't have a pulse."
Give me O2 back here, guys.
Everything just happens so fast. And then you have to sit back and think, well, did I do the right thing? I hope he's going to make it. Just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Paramedic Prancevic kept trying to revive the boy.
We were traveling at a high rate of speed. I remember going around corners, sliding from one side of the police car to the other with a small child in my arms, trying to do mouth-to-mouth and CPR. And while I was working on that boy, thinking of my own 2 boys, it was all I wanted to do was to save that boy's life. About a half a mile from the hospital, I noticed the small boy had what we term an agonal respiration. He gasped for air. It was a good sign. All I could remember saying was, "Come on, boy, let's go. Let's start breathing. You can do it."
Come on, buddy. Breathe.
I remember getting to the hospital, and I felt for a pulse. He had a pulse, and it was a very good feeling.
After more than 5 minutes, Wesley finally began to show signs of life.
His heart was beating again, but he still didn't have enough respirations to sustain life, so I supported his respirations by doing mouth-to-mouth.
The Pomona Medical Center ER team was headed by Dr. Robert Stefanko.
We had been notified by the police dispatch that they were on their way, and we were ready for them. The panic-stricken face of the paramedic pretty much told the story. The child in his arms was limp, was peripherally blue, and the time was of the essence. He was teeter-tottering with life.
We go inside, and I saw him moving around, and he was screaming and yelling, and as much as I dislike kids screaming, that was music to my ears, is hearing his screams, because that he was breathing on his own.
I was very happy to hear that baby cry. It made me feel really good. But the happiest moment was to hear Dad say, "Thank you, God, thank you."
My son was gone. He was gone away from me. And I found him 15 minutes later, alive.
The key to survival in a pediatric near-drowning arrest is providing enough oxygen to the brain. And the only way that this can be done effectively is through CPR in the field. And had he not received CPR by the paramedics, the police officer, and Dad, no matter how fast they drove to the hospital, Wesley would not have survived.
Wesley was released from the hospital after 2 days. He has completely recovered. Although he may never remember the Sunday morning when he nearly lost his life, his sisters, father, and Mother Diane will never forget.
I have a deep sense of gratitude for the amazingly fast response of the police and the paramedics. They brought my boy back. You know, it's like the Lord saying, hey, pay attention here. These are 3 precious children that I've given you, and you better take care of them.
I think I will always feel guilty because I could have prevented that accident. And I think it behooves myself and every parent out there to take the steps to prevent the accidents. He's okay, but I'll be more careful every time from now on.
I'd say he's a pretty nice kid, and I'm glad he's still alive.
But he's a pain in the butt.